What would it take for Terra Luna Classic to hit 1 cent in 2023? A lot of us influencers talk about Terra Luna Classic to $1, Terra Luna Classic to 1 cent, all these different thresholds, but let's talk today about what it would actually take to have Terra Luna Classic go to 1 cent. The first thing in my mind that we need to accomplish to get Terra Luna Classic to 1 cent is bump this market cap number up a lot, okay? If we're only $1 billion blockchain, there's only so much potential we can have, and right now we're talking about over a 50x is what we're trying to accomplish. We'll talk about some of the other factors we're going to get into in a minute, but we don't actually need to 50x the market cap, we just need to increase it. So we can look at something like Shiba Inu, for example. You can see Shiba Inu right now, about a $7 billion market cap, about 7x Terra Luna Classic, but we need more than that. We need this to go higher than 7 billion. So let's look at the peak of Shiba Inu and see Shiba Inu, this was peaking about $40 billion market cap, and you might be saying, right now, that'd be impossible. That'd be insane for us to accomplish, and you have a fair point. We're in a bear market right now. ETH is down quite a bit. You can see ETH right now at 1,600. Comparatively, when Shiba Inu actually peaked out, ETH was over $4,000 per ETH. So if we could get a market recovery and see ETH go back over $4,000 per ETH, it's actually possible for us to see Terra Luna Classic potentially rise up and become the next Shiba Inu. I mean, we'll probably see some kind of Shiba Inu situation where you see a coin just spike up, and hopefully this spike that we see would actually be Terra Luna Classic. The other major thing that we need to change is the volume numbers. Now, this is showing the exchange volume numbers, but we all know Terra Luna Classic burns are such a big thing about our mission, about our objective, and this is where burns come into play. Is if we get higher volume, particularly on chain or on exchanges like Binance that burn Terra Luna Classic, if we can get those volume numbers up on chain and on exchanges, then we can burn more Terra Luna Classic. And you might be saying, okay, well, right now our volume numbers are pretty low. If you recall, when Terra Luna Classic was really running a couple months ago, we peaked at over $1 billion of daily volume. Right now, we're less than 1/10 of that. And so you might be wondering, what is the potential for these volume numbers? But again, we can look at Shiba Inu, because again, our hope here is that Terra Luna Classic would become a Shiba Inu type situation. We have a strong community behind us. Maybe we can pump up. And so with Shiba Inu, we can see these volume numbers were insane. I mean, at the peak of Shiba Inu, and granted, this was the peak, you're looking at $36 billion of volume in a single day. And it obviously dropped off quite a bit, but you can see it was over about $1 billion pretty consistently for quite a few months. And so this decline in volume also coincides with the decline in price of Shiba Inu, but also Ethereum. You can see at the same time, Ethereum also dropped pretty dramatically as when Shiba Inu dropped. If you guys are getting value out of this video, please consider smashing the like button down below. It would help me a lot. All right, let's keep going. So when we plug these numbers into a spreadsheet to try and see what do we need to have Terra Luna Classic go to 1 cent in about a year so we could have over 50x gains, which in a year is insane. I'm going to talk about that in a second, but we would have to have this market cap go to $40 billion. Again, about that peak of Shiba Inu, and we'd also have to see our volume numbers just absolutely explode over the coming year, where we average well over $1 billion of daily volume for Terra Luna Classic. And with our burn tax, we could potentially be burning about 1/3 of the total supply through this high volume. And so the combination of a higher market cap and also burning through almost 1/3 of our total supply, we could see Terra Luna Classic hit this 1 cent threshold that we're talking about in a year. Now, this is where I need to be honest with you guys, and we need to come clean. We need to have an honest conversation here. Look at these numbers with me and see what is the likelihood of this happening, right? Shiba Inu, one of the big problems with Shiba Inu is it spiked up and it went down. And of course, the overall market went down along with it. But it's important to realize this, because when we look at Terra Luna Classic and we say we want to have Terra Luna Classic spike up to these numbers, this 1 cent number, well, one, we have the question of how to maintain that. And we'll get to that in a second. But two, for us to spike to this, we're literally talking about a 40x in our market cap. We're talking about our volume numbers going over 10x, over 30x towards the end of that year. And so, hey, unlike other influencers that maybe will promise you the moon and say, guys, we're going to hit 1 cent guaranteed end of the year, I'm not going to say that. I'm going to say, look at, sure, it's possible. Sure, we can point to Shiba Inu and say, look at, here's an example of something that happened. And maybe if we can replicate that, it's possible. But the odds of that happening is so low. Like, Shiba Inu was the exception. It was not the rule. It was a cryptocurrency that blew up out of nowhere. That's why it's so popular. That's why it's so well known, is that's not what everything did. It was really rare for that kind of a thing to happen. So the odds of this happening for Terra Luna Classic is low for us to see Terra Luna Classic hit 1 cent in the next year. And so in my opinion, the best way to view a Terra Luna Classic at 1 cent in 1 year would be to say, hey, if this happens, that would be amazing. 50x gains in 1 year, that is unheard of to get this kind of gain in 1 year. But don't expect that, right? Don't count on that to happen. If it happens, great, but don't expect that to happen. Maybe set your threshold a little bit lower, like, hey, I'm gonna hope for a 2x or a 5x for Terra Luna Classic, not a 50x in 1 year. That's not a realistic expectation of what should happen. This is like a, wow, this is amazing if it does happen. However, in my mind, it is absolutely pointless for us to have Terra Luna Classic hit 1 cent if we can't maintain the price. I mean, Shiba Inu, the market cap spiked up. We went insane with Shiba Inu, but then it just went straight down from there, and it's been rough ever since. And if we want to actually maintain a 1 cent Terra Luna Classic, we need to start talking about getting utilities in our ecosystem. And if you want to learn how utilities can help Terra Luna Classic hit these high prices, as well as actually maintain the prices, check out this video up here, and I'll catch you on the next one.